Hi, welcome or welcome back. My name is Yu Wing. You can call me Yu Win or Win, and I'm happy that you're joining me wherever and whenever you are tuning in. This video is a video in a 90-day challenge that I've been doing to speak my truth and to share my story. And so I hope that if this is something that you've been working on, that you receive this as a sign or confirmation from the universe to take the step. Keep writing that book. Reach out to that person. Yeah, you don't have to do it perfectly. Doesn't have to be uh, eloquent. Just share the thing. Just speak your truth. I like to start my videos sharing a practice of some sort. And so this one is, and maybe I've shared this one before, so I do apologize. But um, when I am going through and training and teaching about something, if there's a lot of information, I will pause sort of at the end of a section and then I will ask participants to take 20 seconds to jot down any key takeaways, whether it's drawing, whether it's a bullet point, whether it's, sentences, whatever it is. But because those usually end up being the things that they will take away, the only thing that they remember from the training, which is totally fine because I know it's a lot of information. And so I try to do that for myself. So, after or as I'm going through like a webinar or a video, I'll write down things that stand out for me. And like at the end of a therapy session, after I've taken notes, I will take a moment to write down my takeaways from that session so that that's usually the key point. And our brains probably don't have enough space for all of the key points, even though there can be many. So just to, carve out that intentional space to reflect on what stood out usually is the thing that I've noticed people remember. So just something there for you in the case that it supports you. You can feel free to take it and evolve it and change it to fit your needs, or you can just leave it here. Okay, so this video, gosh, I was trying to find a pen to write with. And so I grabbed a couple of pens that I've had for a while. Um, and they were super cute pens that were gifted to me. And so at the time that I received them, I used them sparingly. And then I thought, okay, I'll just wait. And then so when I found them years later, and today I was trying to write with them. And even though it looks like they have ink, the ink is dry. So whether I can access the ink now or if it's a lost cause, I guess I just wanted to talk about how sometimes we can do that, right? We can put off using the pen because it feels too fancy for a regular day. We can put off, the perfume or the cologne because it's more expensive. Maybe it's like the the coat or the dress because, well, who always has an occasion? Who always has an occasion to wear something? Um, but I don't know, can we just carve out the occasion for it instead of letting it dry up and wither, or for our bodies to change and they don't fit, or for them to fall apart and get holy and you have to toss it anyway? Um, what are some of those things that might get in the way of people, using those things? I don't know if it's a question of like do I deserve to use this? Am I worthy of using it? So, how do we confront that? Is it a question of, sometimes I don't feel comfortable being the only one who's dressed up. Feels like it draws a lot of attention, depending on where you are. So, it could be not wanting to stand out, maybe that red lipstick is a little too much. And there were a few videos where I was using red lipstick because I was trying the red lipstick theory. Anyhow, I'm thinking of things that might get in the way for me. And I mean, there's a deeper thing, there always is. And so in thinking about that, I don't know if I talked about this, but um last week I was spending some time with a junior in my life, and she was in the process of moving and was selling some of her items so that she didn't have to bring it with her or get rid of them. And so she had told me about a desk, and I have flirted with the idea of getting a different desk for the last 5 years or four or three or whenever I got my last desk. Um, and so, I wanted to just make sure, okay, dimensions wise, does it fit my space? So she shared with me the dimensions and the desk, and I was like, okay, that's helpful. So then I sat for a day or two, and I was like, well, I don't need a desk. Technically, I have a desk. Um, it's been working and it's been allowing me to do. Um, the reason why I was flirting with wanting to get a new desk is because the depth, so the space from the wall to me of the desk, um, less than 20 inches. I don't even know if it was, maybe it might have been like 17 or 18. And so for me to set up my laptop and my stand and my mouse pad and my keyboard, in order for me to be able to, do virtual trainings, um, it essentially took up the whole space. So if I was like using my laptop setup and I wanted to take notes, it was really a lot of work, and I'd have to sort of shove everything over to the leftist side so that I could squeeze in a notebook because I'm right handed, right? And get rid of the mouse pad. That just took up way too much space. So then I asked her the second question. And the second question was, how much are you asking for it? So then she shared an amount. And then I looked on another site to see, like what were people asking for the same or similar desk. And so um, her price was a little bit higher than other folks that I saw. So again, sat there and I was like, I don't need a desk. I can just keep using what I have. So I asked a friend, okay, maybe I did share this with you. Or maybe I didn't, because I can't remember if I told this to someone else. Anyhow, so all of this about a desk. Um, So I ended up asking because she had offered a friend rate, which was half off. And I was like, oh, that's a steal because it's a lot less than the other desk that I had seen used. And so I decided to accept the offer, the deal. And even though it's about a desk, it was about a lot more because I think I have gotten in the mindset of accepting what I have, and that's it. And for whatever reason, I feel like this is connected to not using my pens or not wearing the coat or, sort of putting things off until, there's something more appropriate or till I'm more deserving or worthy. And so I really want to work on shifting that because I'm sure it's part of the reason why I felt so stuck. And even though I am like shifting the garden in my mind, and that's been helping to feel less stuck. The other thing I think about is in the teachings of Abraham channeled through Esther Hicks. They talk about expansion is a natural consequence of existing and being, but they say that joy is the purpose. So I don't think there has been a lot of joy that I've allowed myself to experience, that I've allowed in. And so maybe that's also part of the reason why I haven't been expanding and growing. I think that I also have certain beliefs around material consumption and how pervasive it is and how excessive it feels too. So I also want to be thoughtful and mindful. I don't want to just, get a new device because it's been 5 months and I can get a new one. That's not my MO, just to have a thing to have a thing. Um, and I want to use things if they're still usable, right? And so I don't want to contribute to more waste, which is another part of me for the sake of not wanting to create waste, not necessarily that I don't feel like I deserve. That's a separate reason. But I'm sitting with it and, just being curious about how I can allow myself to level up, how I can allow myself to enter or fully be in a higher timeline. Um, and so maybe this is a part of shedding the old self, the old things. Um, and so with the desk, I decided to see it as an investment into writing, which is something I do want to spend more time doing. And so being able to write on the new desk because there's enough space to spread out and not feel like I have to carve out, a corner, or to be able to continue learning and taking courses online and using my laptop and my notebook at the same time is pretty exciting. So, um, yeah, if you have any thoughts, would love to hear. But, if there are obstacles or blockages for you in terms of wearing the pearls or, I don't know, using the champagne flutes, um, I hope you get curious about why you're not and why you might want to, and if you even need it. So, yeah, I think the curiosity helps to take us a lot further than the judgment and the shame and the blame. So, yeah, I know the 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 grandness of the desk um, has stirred a lot for me. So, I just wanted to share that. And if I have talked about it, thanks for listening again. And if I haven't talked about it or you didn't watch that, I'm happy and grateful that you're here witnessing my journey. Thank you for helping to witness uh, this little corner of the internet with me and this life that I'm living. And I am grateful and excited. So I wish you well. I send you a big hug. And if we are to connect again, then I look forward to it. And if not, please, and if so, please take good care. Okay, bye-bye.